shop, na mi kan download. Mi kan download, mi kan download, mi kan download, my god, god. Shop na mi kan download, mi kan download, mi kan download, mi kan download, my god, god. I think I'm gonna shop now, mi kan download, mi kan download, mi kan download, mi kan download, my god, god.
Welcome back, everyone, to our third game of the night for Friend of Foe. Season 7, final day of the regular season. Pandas with hats going up against In the Trees. My name is Rare Adam. Alongside me is Anti. Rivals of Anti, we could call you as well. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite well. And yourself, Adam?
My voice is gonna die by the end of this at this rate. Nonetheless, we are into draft
Oh, Lord.
between Pandas with hats and In the Trees. A game that does have significant implications on the playoff picture. In the Trees need to win here in order to have a chance at playoffs. Potentially a tiebreaker if UB are to win later tonight. Pandas with hats, they're trying to play spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, I love to see teams playing spoilers, and we've seen that time and time again, whether it be through FOF or Official Riot or Nautilus first pick blind on blue side, just immediate response with the Kaiser Rel, and we have no idea if that Rel is going to be going over to He Who Slops. You know, it definitely is a He Who Slops pick, but Rel's so versatile right now. Zeri Karthus on Okay, Pandas, I'm almost certain, are just picking whatever the hell they want. They do not care what In the Trees are going for. They're just going for picks that they think are good and or fun.
Yeah, and In the Trees, of course, taking this game extremely seriously. As we mentioned, their very slow start to the season has lent themselves to a very difficult situation where, hey, you gotta win out here. You have to win. They won yesterday. They have to win again today to make sure that they can supplant that, get themselves into the playoff picture. I lied. They did not win yesterday. That's why they have to win today. Regardless here, the Nautilus Zeri bot lane is very interesting from Flow State and Subarashi, and if we're being honest, we haven't seen Pandas with hats play a game on stream in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's been pretty rough seeing whether or not we can get enough players for Pandas with hats to really just field the full roster. And now we got Chungo McGee and No Sleep Leak, right? You know, coming on in as the Shining Knights in armor for Pandas, but is it too little too late? We have no idea just how strong these players are. You know, it's a big question mark over their head. Meanwhile, Renekton gonna be picked up, and the Syndra as well, meaning that this is a Karthus jungle. All right, very interesting to start things off. Meanwhile, In the Tree's gonna be rounding things out with the Jace mid, with the Amumu. This is gonna be a very, honestly, almost a straight up LCS level composition, you know, barring a few things that are not quite meta, but still very strong in their own rights.
And of course, In the Trees is what we can say about this draft is that it is very well rounded, as you mentioned. You know, you've got your split pusher and the Camille, you've got all your poke that can come through from Jace Kai'Sa, you've got that engage tool with the Amumu Rel as well. It's a very well thought out team comp. On the flip side, it's I can't say the normal word I would say for this, but screw it, we ball comp coming through from Pandas with hats here, because they're looking for whatever they can. They're playing for comfort. They don't care. They want to try and play spoiler, and if they can't play the champions that they want to play spoiler with, they will not.
Yeah, and that being said, right, you know, a lot of those champions are very strong in their own rights, right? Renekton, very strong in the lane against Camille. Karthus, pretty much always going to be a strong pick, regardless of whether or not you stick in the jungle or the bot lane. You know, there's just so many things that you can do with these picks here, and Zeri has been seeing quite a bit of resurgence lately, and I'm glad to see her on the Rift once again in Flow State's hands. But right now, just going to be starting things off with your standard boring 5-point. Come on! It's your last time getting a chance to play spoiler here, and you're telling me that you're not just going to run straight into the middle of the enemy jungle for the level 1 bloodbath? I don't know.
Honestly, it would be grounds for... It's the only time that you can do it. It's the grounds to do so. Go into the river, have a little bit of a fight there. Keep the energy going here, especially considering for Pandas with hats, you might as well go for it. If you lose, whatever. If you win, you get to play massive spoiler in the grand scheme of things. And your margin for error here in terms of In the Trees is so low. You cannot afford to be giving over a win here, because that means your season is in the hands of Asura Gaming at that point. You need Asura Gaming to win the next game to make sure that you get yourselves at least a tiebreaker for that 6th slot. Side note, Fat Pikachu are watching this hoping that one of the next 2 games leads to either an INT loss or a UB loss, because that would just get them into playoffs. Despite their recent performances, they've still gotten enough of an early season lead to just get it over with.
Yeah, I mean, and it's definitely gonna be pretty interesting to see just how things play out. Pagtrop is already going to be going and doing a lot of damage. I mean, I was a little bit upset that we didn't see any of the level 1 shenanigans from the 5-man, but we're seeing level 1 shenanigans everywhere as He Who Slops and Kenny just going straight in. There's so much damage from the side of INT early on here, and they're making it known.
Yeah, lots of trading on every lane. Spicy Baba Pagtrop is trading back and forth. As you mentioned, Subarashi taking the worst end of that trade. The rhythm of this game already increasing tenfold. After 2.5 minutes, you know, they've been in lane for a minute each, and they're just already going to town on each other.
Yeah, and right now, you know, just going to continually trade, continually do as much damage as possible, as the overall health bars of INT just look so much nicer. You know, Broccoli just going to continue to trade as much as possible, doesn't even care about the level deficit. And meanwhile, Bow Explode gets a very, very stable, very, very quick, you know, full clear towards this top side. So Chungo's got to be a little bit careful about whether or not the Amu is going to be coming on in, because Karthus can only do so much about early ganking.
Yeah, Karthus really just wants to full clear until 6, then press R, get a whole bunch of money off of first strike, and go back and spend some of that. It's about the experienced Karthus players that can make these early ganks happen, and we haven't seen No Sleep Leak, so we have no idea what their comfort level on this champion is. Nonetheless, Broccoli, a very experienced Camille in their own right. Flash forward from Bow Explode. Behind the minions goes Chungo McGee, drops down the thumbs up as well, gets out of there. No Sleep Leak shows up for a little bit of poke, and it dissuades the rest of the play. Flash for flash, Bow Explode for Chungo McGee.
Yeah, and you'll trade a jungler flash for a top laner flash any day of the week, because, you know, the moment that the top laner doesn't have flash, now they can't walk up, they can't break the freeze, they can't break the waves, they can't break through. He Who Slops his flow state almost going to be going down, immediately taking so much damage from the Rel, as I just do not believe just how strong of an engage that is. But not only that, Flow State was just not ready for it at all.
Yeah, Flow State will end up going down in CS here now, because Kenny Hammerspike has just afforded the agency to shove that wave in, let it go, create a little bit of a gold deficiency in that Zeri's pocket, and that is so important. Keep the Zeri off your books there as much as possible. Pagtropus, well, getting out of that one on the basis of Subarashi showing up for a nice little gank. Nice little trades back and forth before the summoner spell. Pagtropus will be without escape for another 5 minutes. Meanwhile, top lane, Broccoli once again doing battle with Chungo McGee. It's half HP for both of them as they just continue to duke it out.
Yeah, you know, every single hit, blow for blow, Broccoli continuing to trade even despite the level deficit, more specifically looking at the wave state here. And right now, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier, where Chungo just cannot walk up to break this freeze without putting himself into a very dangerous position, right? Because Broccoli here is still looking to try to find some way how to get this Renekton into essentially kill position, but He Who Slops in a rough position here as Kenny Hammerspike didn't get flashed on.
Yeah, Kenny Hammerspike needs to be careful flashing away from that play, but He Who Slops now has to find a way out of this. Rel without her horse is a very slow, and nary an athlete in sight for that one. Will be forced to burn that flash as well to get out of the play. Interesting ganking patterns coming through from No Sleep Leak, considering what I said from the beginning, just making me a big old liar about the whole thing, because No Sleep Leak has had 2 successful ganks, considering they're Karthus without the ultimate.
Yeah, and it seems like No Sleep Leak's name really just is a testament to the no sleep that any of their opponents are going to be able to get, because this Karthus is just ganking every lane on repeat. It's actually insane to watch. Like, I love every single little bit of it, but this Karthus now able to take the early dragon, getting slowly closer to that level 6, where you're gonna start to see a lot of huge value from that first strike. Meanwhile, Broccoli just going to continue to do so much damage to Chungo. Like, that's a huge wave under tower. Chungo has to walk in to grab it, but just going to lose a lot of health for it, and maybe even forced to back here as Broccoli still holding on to the teleport. This Camille is going to be able to get so much value out of that.
Especially if Broccoli opts to teleport back now. The slippery Camille, already so difficult to lock down for Chungo McGee, burning that ultimate, forcing them to take a reset here, and potentially even freezing this wave on the top side could lead to Broccoli getting quite the lead for themselves. Put Renekton on a little bit of a diet, prevent them from getting a lot of that farm if they so desire. Nonetheless, 7 minutes in, no kills on either side. There's been several skirmishes, almost fights, I would say, but nothing quite to land that first blow. Subarashi seems to be interested in doing so, though. First, a little hook gonna land onto He Who Slops, a stun back the opposite way. Crash down goes He Who Slops. No mas.
Yeah, I mean, just like that, Kenny and He Who Slops just going to continue to walk on out of there. Early on, it was the aggression from He Who Slops that really gave them all the priority in this lane. This time around, it's just no sleep leak. Just continually running straight down into bot lane, just continually forcing out so much here. And He Who Slops, you can tell that he just wants that siege minion, but it's probably going to get denied from him by that hook. Subarashi, meanwhile, Chungo just going to continue to pick up as much farm as possible. You know, a little bit down in terms of the farm here, but into Camille, sometimes that's really all you can do. I mean, the Renekton really in a rough spot here, right? You know, you should be able to absolutely just wipe the floor with the Camille early on. You know, you have your empowered W, you have your slice and dice, but still not going to be able to get the better of these trades. You know, this is a counter pick for a reason, but Broccoli's playing this lane so much better.
Yeah, Broccoli has been one of the standout performers of this entire season, I think, especially in the second half where In the Trees have really risen up those ranks, found themselves a lot of victories here. Broccoli has yet to disappoint on Camille specifically. I think they've had an incredible season for themselves, constantly drawing the line between what can be expected out of your top laners here, and just putting the rest of his team in such an advantageous position, because every single time that you're laning against Broccoli, you have to expect that going even is a victory for yourself, because Broccoli will find a way nonetheless. Chungo McGee will pop the Dominus once again. Broccoli says, I'm not interested. He gets the hell out of there as soon as possible with that hookshot wall dive.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, oh my god, it's no sleep leak already in top lane again, but Bow Explode going right on in. This time, we're seeing the classic Bow Explode counter ganks that we know and love him for, and oh baby, here comes
the
Karthulti.
Requiem. Oh my goodness, here loud and proud from the skies, a double kill picked up in return. What makes a great play turn into an even play at that? Pagtropus now trying to deal with Spicy Baba, but there's no mana to speak of. Pagtropus in a world of hurt. Acceleration Gate going to be going into the alcove. Can they dodge away from the orbs? No, they cannot. Spicy Baba collects another kill as Pandas with hats. They'll try their best to play spoiler flow state, even popping the ghost and the ultimate on the bottom side of the map. Means that all across the map, action is happening.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen it time and time again. Teams get a chance to play spoiler, and all of a sudden they put out the greatest performances of their lifetimes. And this seems like it might be it. Pandas with hats could possibly knock INT out of playoff contention here. So right now, you know, that Karthus ulti going to be just rocketing No Sleep Leak forward in terms of just how much gold that they can put out here, you know, slowly getting closer and closer to that Leandri's Torment. And the moment you can do that, you can deal with Bow Explode going straight on Subarashi, but oh my god, he just absolutely exploded.
Gone. And once again, another dive going down onto flow state. Pagtropus is going to be the one trying to clean this one up. In the trees, want to stay out of them as much as possible. Kenny Hammerspike will get traded it back. But oh my goodness, the action going back and forth amounts up to a 3-for-1 in favor of In the Trees. They do not want to be missing out on the closing ceremonies of FOF. They want to make it to those finals. They will do it at any cost.
Yeah, I mean, in the trees, catching Panda with his hats, raising the tempo and saying, you know what? We can also play high tempo. Let's do it. And they just start running straight in. Under tower does not matter. You know, Broccoli, on the other hand, just going to continue to try to freeze this top wave. Just stay as safe as possible. Still hasn't picked up that Triforce just yet. But the moment that Broccoli does, it's going to be very hard for Chungo. And I don't know. These trades are going so well for Broccoli here.
Yeah, Broccoli's been having a great time, despite being down a level still in this lane, having an incredible time of things. Granted, Pandas with hats move up to that top side of the map, make sure they pick up that Rift Herald for themselves, continue to keep themselves in this game, because thus far, despite that one early fight up on the top side of the map, things have gone south for them. 2,000 gold in the lead for In the Trees, and they look to keep extending that. Something I want to point out here, Bo Explode has been excellent at being everywhere where they need to be at the correct time. We'll get back to that point afterwards. The continuation of that Rift Herald play appears on the top side of the map. Broccoli trying to stay alive with everything that they're worth. The last auto attack from No Sleep Leak will secure it up alongside a couple of tower plates. It's another kill going to Pandas with hats.
Yeah, and a No Sleep Leak looking to be going down here. Bo Explode just gonna go ahead and hook straight on in as Pagtrop is going to pick that one up with the auto. Oh, baby! Going straight into the bush with Flow State. In a lot of trouble down here as Kenny and Hugh Slops are looking to make the dive happen, but the wave gonna get cleared out just before the opportunity really arises. Meanwhile, Pagtropus and Bo Explode, you know, just butt buddies in the jungle, you know, roaming around everywhere, trying to make sure that no one on Pandas is safe, you know, just starting up the deforestation committee, and He Who Slops is right at the head of it. Spicy Baba in so much trouble.
Yeah, Spicy Baba not allowed to play the game there, just removed from the equation. Everyone wanted a piece of the pie on that one, including He Who Slops roaming up to get that assist as well. And now you can see how this game starts to build up here for In the Trees. They love when they can play from a leading position. And yes, it's against the last place team in Pandas with hats, but still, it's been a good resistance put up by them. And speaking of which, Bo Explode might need to be careful here. Doesn't have the ultimate available. No Curse of the Sad Mummy to speak of. Subarashi's here as well, but No Sleep Leak gonna fall as well. Bo Explode will be taken down as well as the Pomo Primus becomes the Requiem of Death, landing down onto multiple members, but Subarashi might be the one singing the Requiem instead. Kenny Hammerspike finds another one. Kenny Hammerspike looking for more. Kenny Hammerspike will not find the kill. Flow State stays alive forever. Pagtropus with a really interesting kill over the wall as well. How did that one work out? The teleport canceled out as well. Pagtropus going back in on to Spicy Baba. There is no help around. The teleport was canceled. Spicy Baba will barely escape with that one as well, as In the Trees win another skirmish in the jungle.
Yeah, and you can see the absolute, you know, craziness of this game where every single person is getting just completely and totally involved in every single little fight. You know, every tiny interaction just leads to yet another kill, another, you know, moment of weakness taken advantage of. You know, this shock blast is barely going wide, the teleport getting canceled, and every player in this game is just playing at their full 100%. Chungo still retaining the level lead after such a long time in this top lane. Meanwhile, Broccoli just trying to walk in here, trying to make sure that No Sleep Leak doesn't get a chance to just play jungle without having to say hi. You know, the thing that most Karthus players are happy to do, which it seems that No Sleep Leak just really is allergic to, right? You know, this Karthus has been in every single lane.
Yeah, Karthus has 7 out of 8 kill participation here, which is odd because it's not off of simply the Requiem. The Requiem has long enough cooldown that you can't just fight around that. Never mind, Spicy Baba gonna be in a little bit of trouble until Pagtropus shows up. The rest of the team is here to play. And that's going to be a shutdown picked up by Spicy Baba. A 9th kill on the board for Pandas with hats. They're keeping it close within 2,000 gold. Basically saying, get in the Karthus carriage if we can get to the later stages of this game, notably level 16. Ultimate's going to be doing a boatload of damage. No Sleep Leak, though, might be thrown into the body bag. It's Kenny Hammerspike collecting another one. Subarashi might be looking to split the uprights with that hook at the very least. Will be able to survive nonetheless. This game has been delivering on every single level. Every time you think someone has a lead, the chair gets thrown into it. That's how the lead just keeps going back the way of INT.
Oh, but watch the teleport. You see Pagtropus teleporting into the jungle right towards the red buff. Flow State trying to pick up, just what little, jungle is left available for the side of Pandas with Hats. And you can see that INT is slowly choking them out. It might be a 2-kill difference, but it is so much more than that in terms of gold, in terms of control, in terms of experience, in terms of Pagtropus just barreling down that mid lane with the accelerated shock blast, and another one coming through. I mean, these ones aren't even with a Manamune finished yet. This is still just the oh yeah, no, it's 225 stacks actually.
Yeah, the Manamune is still there. The Miramon is still a little ways away. I always mess those up too. Don't worry.
Yeah. But it's just crazy to me that we're not even at 360. We're not even at 300. This is at 200 stacks, and Jace is already doing so much damage.
Granted, a lot of that can be by virtue of the fact they are 5-2-2. They've had a field day roaming around the map with the rest of their team as well. Pagtropus has delivered. The funny thing is that they're behind 100 gold compared to Spicy Baba by virtue of those shutdowns picked up the opposite way. Of course, the richest member in this game, still Kenny Hammerspike, has really been able to suppress what Flow State wants to do on the Zeri. So used to seeing the Valorant side of things, where Zeri is Neon. And Neons are, when you see them, it's feast or famine. They're either going to go 30-5 or something, or they'll go 5-20 and lose you the game. Mm-hmm. It feels like that's the case with Flow State here, where they're not given the opportunities to find their ones, find their angles into these fights, and thus they are left being the 5-20 Neon that you do not want to have on your team lest you lose infinite RR. There's your Valorant reference for the day.
Yeah, but either way, it's going to be a long time before we really see Flow State Zeri come online, right? That we might not see too much of it from Neon, but Zeri, once she gets to that late game, once she gets that scaling in, she can really start to take over teams, especially against a team with 4 melees. You've got the Jace, you've got the Camille, you've got the Amumu that you can just stack your ulti on and just eventually turn into a huge problem. Speaking of which, Bow Explode in a little bit of trouble here. Subarashi hook it going wide, just barely able to zone them away from Spicy Baba, but the Herald Shelly will still get the charge straight into the mid lane, and mid tower is just a stiff breeze away from falling now, as Broccoli trying to find a way into this Zeri. There's just so many ways for Subarashi to be in trouble here, and oh my god, Spicy Baba going straight down. The tower still standing, and this tower is actually doing so much more damage than INT was ready for. Oh baby, Kenny Hammerspike now in trouble here, just getting barely away from Chungo, but the slice, the dice, the Q, and Kenny stands victorious with the Requiem ending it all. Karthus will reign supreme. No Sleep Leak is going to continue with the Karthus dominance. And once again, Requiem with incredibly high value for this team.
Yeah, finds another kill for themselves. And I think the major factor of that fight was the dive under the tower, incredibly aggressive from Bo, but no one was hitting the tower. It had health still remaining there. Pagtropus finally collects it at the end, but so many members falling unnecessarily, almost as if we're looking at an unforced error almost coming from the side of In the Trees. And if that is what it takes for Pandas with Hats to keep this game competitive, that is what it is all about. And looking at the gold difference now, 4,000 gold in the lead for In the Trees. It's not insurmountable. There's definitely grounds for Pandas with Hats to stand on, but will they be able to stand on their hats, or will they be standing on their feet at the end of this one? If they're on their hats, it means they're dead at that point. I don't know if they're going to have the sauce to get themselves back into this one. Brock Lee, though, finally in a little bit of stress here, exhausted by No Sleep Leak once again. That's going to be all she wrote. They just back off the play.
Yeah, exhausted, but still not tired enough to be sleeping with the fishes, as Brock Lee is just continuing to show just how much mastery he's got of this Camille. This might have 2 deaths, but those deaths took so much out of hands with hats every single time. You know, you could burn so much on Brock Lee, but he's gonna survive for such a long time. Meanwhile, Bo Explode, Kenny, and Hugh Slops are taking over the entirety of the spot jungle as Pagtropus, hey, we're 30 stacks away from this absolutely unstoppable Jace just starting to take over. Brock Lee just continue to do so much damage. You know, the fully completed Ravenous Hydra means that this Camille can now stay in lane essentially forever, and the moment you leave, that tower's gone.
Oh, that's a big old chunk of damage there off of the 2-item Camille. Still looking for more. Chungo McGee doesn't have an answer. This Gore Drinker, the only answer that you might have, yeah, there you go. Gonna heal yourselves back up a little bit, but Broccoli does not care at this point. Still just trying to slice and dice in there is the Renekton. Now we look towards this 4th dragon of the game, 3rd one potentially on the table for the side of INT. Spicy Baba removed from the action. Pagtropus finds a 7th kill of the game. As you mentioned, the Mirrorman is now fully complete. I want to mention the Serral does is also complete. This is a 3-item Jace at 22 minutes into the game. And this is not a show match or anything. This is a real game where Pagtropus is this fad.
Yeah, and not only that, this is a 3-item Jace with Phase Rush. You know, this isn't any, sort of first strike cheating. This is just pure unbridled gameplay as Pagtropus is just continuing to pick up so much gold, pick up so much farm, and output so much damage. You know, this man is sitting on almost 10 CS a minute. Meanwhile, No Sleep Leak is once again dragged towards this top lane as Chungo's having so much trouble dealing with Brock Lee's Camille.
My question to you, Anti, at this point is, what's the win condition for Pen? We'll get back to that. No Sleep Leak is dead. No Sleep Leak can sleep all they want at that point. Next on the agenda seems to be Chungo McGee. The Requiem not quite going to clear anyone out. Decent damage onto everyone, but it's not enough to find a kill. Spicy Baba in trouble. The stun still lands, but a Bow Explode does not follow. Kenny Hammer Spike around the side will find that. It is traded back by Spicy Baba's Unleashed Power. Brock Lee finds the kill onto Flow State across the map. It is 4 kills for In the Trees, immediately turning tail over to the Baron, and that should be the purple worm in their inventory.
Yeah, I mean, Spicy Baba just gonna be able to flash on in and outplay Button Pagtropus at the very, very last second, meaning that is one less member who's going to be having the purple worm wrapped around them once these minions start walking in the lane. But, as far as win conditions go, it's very, very difficult to really see, right? Because it's an 8,000 gold deficit for the side of Pandas with Hats here. They really need to either, slow down the pace of the game so that way their Zeri and their Syndra and their Karthus can really start to make things happen, or you just absolutely go full on ham, death ball, screw it, we ball sort of style with the Renekton and run straight into INT and try to get something rolling. But I think that ship has already sailed. The only thing you can do now is slow things down and try to stay alive, try to not bleed everything out, because right now the one win condition you have is getting your Syndra, getting your Zeri to a point where they can start to be threats again. But Flow State hasn't finished a 2nd item and Pagtropus is sitting on 3.5.
Yeah, it's the Dory mentality at this point. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. You gotta try your best to keep yourself alive here, especially in your final game of the season. Pandas with Hats, they have nothing to lose, so go out with a bang, not a whimper. That seems to be what they're trying to do on a Kenny Hammer Spike. Go Golden though, Subarashi getting stopped now. Great ultimates coming through. It's the Magnet Storm. It's the Curse of the Sad Mummy. 2 picked up. The Requiem shouldn't be enough to clear anyone out, but Pagtropus now has to run for the hills, and all of a sudden this fight has legs for the side of Pandas with Hats. He who slops now forced to flash away. Chungo McGee needs to be careful. Turret is gone. Brock Lee looking for more fighting, will not find it, but it's 2 kills picked up by the side of INT. They continue to push with the Baron buff intact.
Yeah, and Brock Lee, we've said it time and time again. This man's had so many phenomenal fights in this game so far, but so much of this game really comes down to Bow Explode and Pagtropus just absolutely taking things over. Bow Explode, someone who we've seen time and time again, just MVP back to back to back. This man is so incredibly powerful from the jungle position. You know, just takes over games entirely. Just make sure that every team fight swings in INT's favor, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. You know, Bo Explode on yet another champion that just absolutely decides team fights and swings them, and Amumu just making sure that if Amumu's sad, everyone on the side of Pandas is sad. And dear Lord, Bo has not stopped crying.
Yeah, Bo is going to cry their way into playoffs if that's what it takes for INT. Looking back at this season as a whole, INT started out terrible. We'll say it as it is. This isn't the Orioles broadcast. I can call it as it may be. If they, if they want to fire me after, go for Al. Whatever. But there's a whole bunch of lore behind that. Nonetheless, there's no way that people looking at the standings from week 4 would have said INT is a playoff team, and yet here they are playing their hearts out, looking to try and find what could be their second title, looking to compete with some of the top dogs in OVS and Art of War esports. Someone has to gatekeep Riri eventually, and they are in line to potentially do so. Bo Explode taking the depth charge to the face, but even then they don't want to pull the trigger. Pandas with hats are too scared of this 3-stack, let alone Broccoli on the side lane, let alone Peg is coming through with a poke, and now this could be it. Bo Explode 3, man. Curse of the Sad Mummy, gotta be careful. More following up here. It's a double kill, it's a triple kill. Actually, the third one goes to Pagtropus. The Requiem will simply aid at being a deterrent, but it won't quite be enough. Turrets are falling, the base is in shambles, the inhibitors are all going to the wayside as INT collect a 4th kill of the fight. Flow State, the last one left alive, but they are standing on thin ice. The ice breaks, and that is INT making sure that they stay in the picture, securing themselves at the very least a tiebreaker for playoffs.
Yeah, and just like that, it seems like INT have really managed to invest in some great, oh my lord, this is not gonna go through. Anyway, INT gonna be moving on into playoffs with what could have absolutely been a crazy spoiler of a game. You know, that the early game from the side of Pandas was phenomenal, and it's great to see them on stage once again, and it's sad to see them go, but thank you, Pandas with Hats, for participating in the final FOF season for Heroic League. Man, always going to be rough saying that.
Yeah, it's so interesting to see the development of stories across this season. Just taking a look at, but this is sort of our preamble before the final game of the night as well, because we have to consider that despite this being the final season of FOF, it has still matched the energy of past seasons as well. And Pandas with Hats, they had a really rough go at things, but hey, they still showed up to play. They still gave it their all. Thank them dearly for doing as such. And now we can talk about the final game of the day, because this is where the kings of the league could not be played. Never mind. We apparently got news that UB have won their game against Asura Gaming. So UB, Fat Pikachu, and In the Trees will have a 3-way tiebreaker to be played at a later date.
Huh. Well, ain't that interesting? But, you know, either way, the fact that INT and UB are two teams that had to play in a tiebreaker, and the fact that one of them could not make it into the final playoffs is absolutely insane. But, you know, that'll be it for this week. We're going to have to see exactly how things develop in the future.
Yeah, we'll have to find out what ends up happening with what was supposed to be our final game of the night. That'll all be released in due time, though. But hey, there's more games of FOF now in the quote-unquote regular season. There's no tiebreaker for first place, with OVS winning their game today to move to 15-3. I'm sure Art of War Esports, with two of their players being in the call with me, we're absolutely thrilled about that turnout and everything. But nonetheless, 3-way tiebreaker at some point. Details will be released in the Discord. Make sure, as always, to follow up with the FOF Connect. But that should do it for all of us. Thank you, Anti, for joining me for the final game of the night. And thank you to Sherigan, our producer, all night. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.